Dear Mr. Trump, I'm not a veteran, but I'm a patriot nonetheless. I didn't vote for you, sir, but you're the president. And there's been a lot of talk lately with your administration about so-called Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. That may not have a lot of meaning to you, but having health insurance has a lot of meaning to me, to the people that love me, to my daughter, to my fiance, to my mother. For one, I have lupus. I wasn't always sick. I wasn't always an unhealthy person. I worked. I had a job pretty much since I was 10. I ran my own business, sort of like you, although clearly not as successful, but successful nonetheless for a 10-year-old. I did the nails of the women in my neighborhood who were old and couldn't get out to get their nails done and were unable to, so I would come to their homes and give them manicures and polish their nails. And this was something that I did up until I was about 12 years old. And then I began to wash hair and pick up any odd jobs that I could get to support my mother, who was a nurse. I've pretty much lived as in a working class family all my life, and I became working class. I have a daughter, and I drove buses for the city of Chicago for 12 years. So I may not be a veteran, I may not have slung a gun over my shoulder and protected this country, but as a member of the working class, a person that you claim to represent, I thought I was a part of those unsung heroes of people who we don't really see about, and they don't get a lot of credit, but they go to work every day and hold up this country. But I don't feel like my country is holding me up, because when in 2011 I got sick and my health insurance held out for a little while, but because I was unable to continue going back to work, I lost my job, and along with it, my health insurance. But my health couldn't hold out and wouldn't hold out. You know, it has this funny thing of just flaring up when it wants. So I was in the hospital for 22 days, and I remember the doctor telling me I was having so many issues, and he was like, well, you're just going to have to see me as an outpatient. And he leaves the room, and I realized, how could I see him as an outpatient when I have no insurance? I have nothing for him to see me with. So when the Republicans get up there and make statements on television and say, well, we have health care in this country, you know, you could just go to an ER. Well, sir, people like me would be in the ER every single day. That's not pretty practical. And because people who don't have insurance, it would be extremely unaffordable for other people. And we all know that the people who do have insurance pay for those who don't. So it is a very expensive venture if you want to go down that road, and it's not pretty feasible. And we're the only first world country that continues to do this. When I did finally qualify for Medicaid, I cried. It was like winning the lottery. To know that all the medications that I take and my doctor's visits and even hospitalizations would be covered, and that I didn't have to worry about being so sick and so unable to take care of myself that I would be in a hospital. And then that's when people really have to take care of people like me, because once they get to that point where they don't have insurance, people who do have insurance will wind up covering me anyway. And that's when it just gets to a dire point. All of my medications keep me alive. every day. And they also keep me out of the ER that, some Republicans think is, an acceptable form of health care for people. But let me ask you this, sir, because I don't want to take up all your time. What is a life worth? Because I'm unable to work, does that mean I'm no longer worth anything? Does that mean that because I'm unable to contribute to society at this time, that I should go off and linger and die somewhere? I don't understand. Because a lot of the complaints about Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act that many people in your party had was that there were going to be these death panels that sentenced some people to live and some people to die. Well, ensuring that people don't have health insurance, you'll be doing that anyway. And I understand that you say that you're going to repeal and replace. Well, replace it with what? You say you don't want to tell anybody your plans to fight ISIS and your plans for Russia. But how about your plans for healthcare? Don't we at least deserve to hear that? I mean, there's no national security problem with letting me know how you're going to cover health insurance, is there? Or do you plan on having these health saving accounts that Republicans and the right swear will help people? But where does that leave people who have no money to save in the first place? When they live paycheck to paycheck and they for sure can't save enough money for a heart attack or cancer, especially when these things just happen out of the blue. What if you haven't saved enough? That $1 million guarantee that was taken away was with the Affordable Care Act was a great thing. And now that guarantee will likely be gone, what are people to do? So I ask you, Mr. Trump, when you do get around to fixing healthcare in this country, I want you to think about, what is a life worth? What's my life worth? What's any American life worth to you? You need to understand that healthcare is imperative to a quality life. And because I have insurance, I'm covered. I enjoy a wonderful quality of life. And I don't want that taken away. Thank you for listening.